Good morning and welcome to yet another live session with 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐧 Academy. This is Anne with you, and today we'll be spending some 30 to 40 minutes discussing the listening module, the listening test, not the listening module as such, the listening test which is a part of the listening module, right? So I hope that you're all doing great and your practice sessions are also going on fine, right? So we will take, as usual, you all must be aware you're attending the live, so that we are going to discuss a listening set of questions. Today we are taking section 4 because we have done section 3, 2 and 1 in the previous sessions of that same test. So we are ending that test today, that test paper today, with the last section, that is section 4. So we will take those 10 questions from that section. Before going to the questions, we will listen to the audio clip first, which will display the questions also on the screen. So while you listen to the audio, at the same time you can solve the same, and then after that, once the audio clip gets completed, we will evaluate the answers. Like, we will just check which question has got which answer, because most of the questions in listening which fall under category, there are 10 different types of questions, right? Most of them are like note completion, multiple choice questions. We have got sentence completion, we have got matching, diagram, we have got maps and so on, right? So this must be having also around 2 to 3 set of questions, and this is section 4. So section 4 is known as a as the progress level of the sections go, this is the toughest section as it is told, right? But not something which you cannot solve, right? So that is what we are going to do today. So in a couple of seconds you can hear the audio clip and see the questions on the screen. After that, let's come back and discuss the questions.
Section 4. You will hear a lecturer giving a talk about Australian rock art to a group of archaeology students. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. I've been invited to talk about my research project into Australian Aboriginal rock paintings. The Australian Aborigines have recorded both real and symbolic images of their time on rock walls for many thousands of years. Throughout the long history of this tradition, new images have appeared and new painting styles have developed. And these characteristics can be used to categorise the different artistic styles. Among these are what we call the dynamic, yam, and modern styles of painting. One of the most significant characteristics of the different styles is the way that humans are depicted in the paintings. The more recent paintings show people in static poses, but the first human images to dominate rock art paintings over 8,000 years ago were full of movement. These paintings showed people hunting and cooking food, and so they were given the name dynamic to reflect this energy. It's quite amazing considering they were painted in such a simple stick-like form. In the yam period, there was a movement away from stick figures to a more naturalistic shape. However, they didn't go as far as the modern style, which is known as X-ray because it actually makes a feature of the internal skeleton as well as the organs of animals and humans. The yam style of painting got its name from the fact that it featured much curvier figures that actually resemble the vegetable called a yam, which is similar to a sweet potato. The modern paintings are interesting because they include paintings at the time of the first contact with European settlers. Aborigines managed to convey the idea of the settlers' clothing by simply painting the Europeans without any hands, indicating the habit of standing with their hands in their pockets. Size is another characteristic. The more recent images tend to be life-size or even larger, but the dynamic figures are painted in miniature. Aboriginal rock art also records the environmental changes that occurred over thousands of years. For example, we know from the dynamic paintings that over 8,000 years ago, Aborigines would have rarely eaten fish, and sea levels were much lower at this time. In fact, fish didn't start to appear in paintings until the Yam period, along with shells and other marine images. The paintings of the Yam tradition also suggest that during this time, the Aborigines moved away from animals as their main food source and began including vegetables in their diet, as these feature prominently. Freshwater creatures didn't appear in the paintings until the modern period from 4,000 years ago. So these paintings have already taught us a lot. But one image that has always intrigued us is known as the rainbow serpent. The rainbow serpent, which is the focus of my most recent project, gets its name from its snake or serpent-like body, and it first appeared in the Yam period 4,000 to 6,000 years ago. Many believe it is a curious mixture of kangaroo, snake and crocodile. But we decided to study the rainbow serpent paintings to see if we could locate the animal that the very first painters based their image on. The Yam period coincided with the end of the last ice age. This brought about tremendous change in the environment, with the sea levels rising and creeping steadily inland. This flooded many familiar land features and also caused a great deal of disruption to traditional patterns of life, hunting in particular. New shores were formed and totally different creatures would have washed up onto the shores. We studied 107 paintings of the rainbow serpent and found that the one creature that matches it most closely was the ribboned pipefish, which is a type of seahorse. This sea creature would have been a totally unfamiliar sight in the inland regions where the image is found, and it may have been the inspiration behind the early paintings. So, at the end of the Ice Age, there would have been enormous changes in animal and plant life. It's not surprising, then, that the Aborigines linked this abundance to the new creatures they witnessed. Even today, Aborigines see the rainbow serpent as a symbol of creation, which is understandable given the increase in vegetation and the new life forms that featured when the image first appeared.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, that was the audio clip. That is our audio clip for this innate listening section. Audio clip right? Section 4 in the last section audio clip. So now in the screen you can see the questions, right? Now we will discuss the questions with the audio script, because we cannot play the audio again. You already listened to it. Now we will discuss it with the audio script. So let's go. It is questions are 31 to 40. Right, like listening has got 40 questions, 10 questions each section. But last section 31 to 40 are our questions. You can see first set of questions are from questions 31 to 36, right? And it is about matching, right? There is a set of questions in listening which is called as matching questions, right? And you must be also familiar with this name in reading. Reading module also has this. We have got a category called matching, and in that we have got set of questions called matching features. So category, maybe it sounds the same, but the pattern is different, right? So here section 4 question 31 to 36. Now the title of the audio was speaking about Australian Aboriginal rock painting. So that's the title, right? And then the question comes, which painting styles have the following features? Write the correct letters A, B, or C next to questions 31 to 36. And these are the questions, right? 3 questions, right? Feature. Then what are they? That's the title given. These questions are actually the features of what? Features of painting styles, right? That painting styles have been given down. You can see these are your options. Out of these options, you have to choose one for each other. You have to tell if particular feature is of dynamic painting, yam painting, or modern painting. Okay, so the options are going to be repeated. Maybe dynamic painting has got 2 features or 3 features or maybe 4 features. So it depends, right? Now, so you need to understand first what is the relationship between this question and the options. The relationship is that these are the features and these are the paintings. So matching questions, you will have a set of names and then some features connected to those names, which you have to match with each other. Adana listening le matching kind of questions ulladu. Common aanu kind of questions, you can find them, right? So that is what the question is all about. Now 31 to 36, this will be in the order of the audio. ഓഡിയോൻ്റെ ഏതാണ് ഓർഡർ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നത് അതേ ഓർഡറിലായിരിക്കും ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഉണ്ടാവുക. ബിക്കോസ് ഇൻ ലിസ്ണിംഗ് ദി ഓർഡർ ഓഫ് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഈസ് ഇൻ അലൈൻമെൻറ്റ് വിത്ത് ദി ഓർഡർ ഓഫ് ദ ഓഡിയോ. ഇറ്റ് വിൽ നോട്ട് ഗോ ലൈക്ക് ഹേ വെയർ. പക്ഷേ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തന്നേക്കുന്ന ഈ ഓപ്ഷൻസ് ദേ ആർ in a jumbled form. So you have to choose whichever. Anyways, it's going to be repeated sometimes, maybe not. So it maybe this only 3 options are there. 3 options are there and questions are 6. So definitely options are going to be repeated. That's for sure, right? Fine. So let's go. Write the correct letters. Now, what is the instruction for writing the answers? Options, writing the correct letter A, B, C or C. Now, if A is what? A is dynamic painting. Right, so imagine, let's take that figures revealing bones are option A. So instead of writing dynamic, you will definitely write here option in your answer sheet. Next to 31, you will write A. You will not write the phrase or the word. You will write the correct letter for that answer. Right, that is how you will write the answer. These are the instructions which are mentioned. That's it, right? So now let's go to the first feature. The first feature says figures revealing bones. Right. Some figures which reveals bones are actually the feature of which painting? Dynamic ano, yam ano, modern ano. So let's go to the audio script now. This is the audio script, right? So it is section 4, so it is going to be a monologue. Section 1 is a conversation, 2 is a monologue, 3 is again a conversation, 4 is again a monologue. Section 1 and 2 are general context, section 3 and 4 are academic context, right? So good morning everyone. I have been invited to talk about my research project into Australian Aboriginal rock paintings. The Australian Aborigines have recorded both real and symbolic images of their time on rock walls for many thousands of years. Throughout the long history of this tradition, new images have appeared and new painting styles have developed, and these characteristics can be used to categorize the different artistic styles. Among these are what we call the dynamic, yam and modern styles of painting. So these are actually the options which are mentioned in the beginning of the audio. You can see the rest all is actually a distractor. Connected to that we have no question, but then you cannot lose your focus because we don't know. Now we have audio script, we are aware of that, but when the audio is played we are not aware of that. So you have to be focused on that. Okay, so we have got the options. Up options available on dynamic, yam and modern style paintings. Now, one of the most significant characteristics of the different styles is the way that humans are depicted in the paintings. So this is one characteristic which is also called, characteristic is synonymously called as features. So actually we are matching the features, right? അതാണ് നമ്മൾ മാച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So one main characteristics which are actually of different styles that humans are depicted in the painting. So that is common in all the paintings, right? The more recent paintings show people in static poses, like static poses in people who are at one position, right? But the first human images to dominate rock art paintings over 8,000 years ago were full of movement. So they are telling right now the recent paintings are static. That means it's a single, the people are just posing. They are posing, right? They are doing nothing. They're just posing in the painting. But some 8,000 years ago when they were painting them, so there was a full movement of people. Maybe they are walking, they are doing some work or something which was there. These paintings showed people hunting, cooking, food, and so they were given the name dynamic to reflect this energy. So they are now giving the features, the characteristics of dynamic paintings, right? So now we have to be focused because our options are jumbled, but we have in order the features. So maybe any feature can be mentioned for any of the options. It's quite amazing considering they were painted in such a simple stick-like form. So what we are looking, the features are, the first feature we are looking for is what? Figures revealing bones. So we are looking for something wherein they are telling about figures which showed displayed bones, right? So this is what we are looking for. That is our keyword. Right. So in the Yam period, then they are telling about the Yam period. In the Yam period, there was a movement away from stick figures to a more naturalistic shape. However, they didn't go as far as the modern style. So next is the modern painting, which is known as X-ray because it actually makes a feature of the internal skeleton as well as the organs of animals and humans. Now, modern style, which is also known as an X-ray, why? Because it actually makes a feature. It has got a feature of what? Of the internal skeleton. So skeleton is synonymous to bones, right? So when we take an X-ray, we get to know what is inside your body. So that's why it is called as an X-ray. So this feature wherein the internal bones can be actually seen or is called as the modern style. So this is the feature of modern style painting. So, number option that is C. So, your answer for 31 will be on your answer sheet as C because it is telling about bones, right? Next, rounded figures, postures, right? The posture. So, rounded figures, that is a feature for which painting? Okay, the Yam style of painting got its name from the fact that it featured much curvier figures, right? Curvier figures are rounded figures, plump figures, right? That actually resemble the vegetable called a yam, which is similar to a sweet potato. So, this painting got the name because it features pictures which have much curvier figures, rounded figures, which is synonymous to that. That's why it got the name of yam, which is kind of a vegetable which looks like a round, big, kind of very big, right? Like a potato. So that's why. For this is the option of yam. This is the feature for yam style, right? So yam is on option B, if I am not wrong. This is option B. So the answer for 32 will be option B. Okay. Figures with parts missing. The parts, okay, body parts or something. Figures with some parts, they are missing. Okay, they are not there in that particular picture. So that is a feature for which painting? So we have read. Okay, the modern paintings are interesting because they include paintings at the time of the first contact with European settlers. Aborigines managed to convey the idea of the settlers' clothing by simply painting the Europeans without any hands. So here you can see they used to paint the Europeans. Okay, they never used to paint. They used to paint them without their hands, and hand is a part of the body. Your arms, right? It's a part of the body. So their painting will be like without the arms. That means arms are missing. It is missing part from the body. That is a feature of which one? It is a feature for modern paintings, right? So this is the feature for modern paintings without any body part, right? So that will be option, modern painting is option A, right? So parts missing would be option A, right? Now going further, okay, fine. Indicating the habit of standing with their hands in their pockets. Size is another characteristic. The more recent images tend to be life size or even larger, but the dynamic figures are painted in miniatures. Now, miniature means mini figures, right? mini forms, small forms, right? Miniature, we say miniature of something. Now we have got an option here, question here which says figure smaller than life size. Figure smaller than life size. That means which are actually the when the person is this much taller, that much fat, or whatever it is, they in their figures they will maybe show as Lilliputs, like small miniatures, mini figures, right? So figure smaller than size is a part of which painting, is a feature of which painting? Dynamic figures are painted in miniature. So it is a feature for dynamic painting, which is option okay, we have done a mistake. Dynamic is actually A, so we are looking for modern, which will be here C. That is by mistake I wrote here C. So this is actually C and this is actually A. There's a typing error. So this is option A, figure smaller than life size. Next is sea creatures and then plants. So pictures which had pictures of, they may be making paintings of marine animals, sea creatures, and then also plants. So which are the paintings who did sea creatures and plants? Let's see. Yeah, so we have completed till dynamic and miniatures, right? Next, Aboriginal rock art also records the environmental changes that occurred over thousands of years. For example, we know from the dynamic paintings that over 8,000 years ago, Aborigines would have rarely eaten fish and sea levels were much lower at this time. Okay, in fact, fish didn't start to appear in paintings until the Yam period, along with shells and other marine images. The paintings of Yam tradition. So now you can see fish is a marine creature. It's an animal which lives in the water, right? So Aborigines would have rarely eaten fish and sea levels were much lower at this time. We know from dynamic paintings, we're telling about dynamic paintings that 8,000 years ago, they never knew what fish was. So when something they don't know it exists, how will they paint it? Existence so they will not be able to paint it. So 8,000 years back when dynamic paintings were done, at that point of time they rarely eaten fish, so they don't know what a fish is all about, and sea levels were much lower at that time. In fact, so fish didn't start to appear in paintings until the Yam period started, along with shells and other marine images. So that is what they are trying to say. The paintings of the Yam tradition also suggest that during this time, the Aborigines moved away from animals as their main food source and began including vegetables in their diet, as these feature prominently. So this part of the audio can be a bit confusing because they are telling first about the dynamic paintings and there they are mentioning about the fish. Pakshe, they are telling that they have rarely eaten fish. That is, fish because they don't know. It was 8,000 years back when dynamic paintings were there. At that time, they don't know what a fish is. Fishes started to appear in their paintings during the Yam period. So in the Yam period, they were having fishes in their painting. That means they were fishes aware. Right? So they started to paint. That is about Yam. So that means fish, the marine creatures are a feature of the Yam paintings, which is in option B, right? So your answer for 35 will be option B, because it is Yam painting. So it is not dynamic, because in dynamic they were not aware of the fish. They were not painting it in that. They were started to paint when they started Yam paintings. Appam adungondu dynamic alla, it is option B. Adeypole same thing. So that continuing part of the audio, they are telling that the paintings of Yam tradition also suggest that during this time the Aborigines moved away from animals as their main food source and began including what? Vegetables in their diet, as these feature prominently. So these all things, from these paintings the researchers found out these things, what kind of things they used to eat, right? So then once they started to include fish, after that they shifted their taste from marine animals to they started eating vegetables, because after that period in their paintings they used to draw vegetables as one of the features. So vegetables, that is a part of, that is formed from what? Plants, right? They are plants. So that's why the option for 36 will be also B, because that also happened during the Yam paintings, right? So you can see the option B has been repeated thrice in this, right? So that is 3 of the features are from the yam paintings. So that will happen in your matching kind of questions. Quite obvious because 3 options are there and 6 questions are there. That means options will be repeated. Now how many times, that ratio is not fixed. Right? So this is matching questions. ഇതാണ് matching features. ഇങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും നിങ്ങളുടെ matching features, some names about some person, some place or something, like here it was painting features, and then some painting names and their features are given. Okay, maybe sometimes they will give some building, a structure, 2-3 structures, and then some features of those structure. അതും അങ്ങനെയും ആവാം, depends on the audio clip. So this is what is matching listening hour. Next set of questions like a bomb. Next is 37 to 40. Right, so 4 questions which are actually notes, completing notes, which is a very common kind of question in listening, completing the notes. Write no more than, instruction says write no more than 2 words. So your answer should be either 1 word or 2 words, not more than that. And then they have given a title, it is about rainbow. Every note will have a title. Then they will have also subtitles. Okay, this is the main topic, this is the main title, it is about rainbow serpent project. Okay, and then they have got 37 one note, 38 and 39, right? And 38 and 39 actually has got another thing which is about the yam period. It is these 2 notes are from yam period. Then the last is again one title is rainbow serpent image, subtitle, and it has got a 1 note which is already filled, 2 notes which are filled, 3rd note we have to fill. Okay, so അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ questions വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. In notes, like we say, notes means what? You listen to something, you take important points. So whatever important points about that part of the audio are taken down, some will be filled for you, some you have to fill. Okay, some blanks as per the instruction. And they have given a picture of the serpent project. This is what serpent means, snake. That is what it looks like. Okay, so നമുക്ക് ഓഡിയോ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റിലേക്ക് പോവാം. വി ആർ ലുക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് ദ റെയിൻബോ സെർപ്പൻറ്റ് പ്രോജക്റ്റ്. അത് എന്താണെന്ന്. സോ വി ഹാവ് റെഡ് ടിൽ yam features, right? That is freshwater creature didn't appear in the paintings until the modern period from 4,000 years ago, but that is not a part of the options. Okay, next. So these paintings have already taught us a lot, but one image that has always intrigued us is known as the rainbow serpent. The rainbow serpent, which is the focus of my most recent project. So this is what we are looking for. നമ്മൾ ഇതിൻ്റെ കുറച്ച് നോട്ട്സ് ആണ് ഫില്ല് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് about this topic, rainbow serpent, which is the focus of my most recent project. Gets its name from its snake or serpent-like body, and it first appeared in the yam period. So it appeared, we have got a note which says about something about yam period. Before that we have got something else also. So like I told, the audio will be in the questions will be in the order of the audio. In the yam period, 4 to 6,000 years ago. Many believe it is a curious mixture of kangaroo, snake and crocodile. But we decided to study the rainbow serpent paintings to see if we could locate the animal that the very first painters based their image on. So what is the first note we are going to fill here is about the painting. Aim of the project. What is to how to identify. To identify the dash used as the basis for the rainbow serpent. So aim of the project. What was the speaker's focus is on developing, knowing more about this project, know more about this rainbow serpent project. Why? What is the aim of the project? The aim to identify the dash used as a basis for the rainbow serpent. Now with this thing which has been drawn, what is the basis of this picture? That is what they are trying to identify as an aim of the project. What made them build this draw this painting? That is what they are trying to. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് അതിൻ്റെ aim. Then നമ്മളിവിടെ വായിച്ച മാതിരി it has got certain animals. We can see here many believe. So my recent project gets its name from many believe it is a curious mixture of what? Kangaroo, snake and crocodile. But we decided to study the rainbow project. That means we decided to study the rainbow project paintings to see if we could locate the animal that was very first painters based their image on. So they were actually, their aim was to find out locate that animal in that painting that the very first painters based their image on. So it is, the answer for that note will be identifying what? Identifying the animal, right? To identify the animal used as a basis for the rainbow serpent. That's our note, first one. 38 says it is about yam period, like we told. Something happened in, these all things happened in the yam period only. So environmental changes led to higher dash. That is the first one we have to look. Second one is traditional activities were affected, especially dash, right? So environmental changes led to something. There was a change in the environment, atmosphere, which led to there was a consequences which led to next something. What is that? Led to higher, whatever it was on higher side. So I'm going to come, what is it? Yeah, the yam period coincided with the end of the last ice age. This brought about tremendous change in the, so we are looking for yam period only. This brought about tremendous change in the environment. We are looking for some change in the environment. What happened to the environment? With the sea levels rising is synonymous to high, or you can say increase, right? So it is synonymous to something which is increasing or going high. So sea levels rising and creeping steadily inland. So what was rising, going on higher side? It was the sea levels. So the answer for 38 will be environmental changes led to higher sea levels, right? So that is the correct answer. Next, traditional activities were affected, especially. There was an effect on what? Traditional activities. Okay, what was the effect? Were affected especially what? Okay, this flooded many familiar land features and also caused a great deal of disruption to traditional patterns of life. This affected many, flooded many lands and also caused what? Great deal of disruption. So disruption is an effect. Something which disrupts is affected. What? Traditional to traditional patterns of life. Traditional, we are looking for traditional, something traditional patterns of life. Hunting in particular. So what was the change happened? The effect, traditional change happened in hunting. The process of hunting. So the answer for that will be traditional activities were affected, especially hunting. Okay. Right. So that completes the information about yam period notes. Next we have to about the serpent image. Now maybe they have studied the image, what it looks like, how it. So we are looking at the serpent image, similar to a sea horse, already given. Unusual because it appeared in inland areas, already given. Symbolizes, that means it symbolizes means it signifies. Symbolizes can be it signifies something. Okay, what? Signifies dash in Aboriginal culture. It signifies something in their culture. അവരുടെ കൾച്ചറിനെ സിഗ്നിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന എന്തോ കാര്യം കൊണ്ടാണ് അവരതെങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയത്. So new shores were formed and totally different creatures would have washed up on the shores. We studied 107 paintings of the rainbow serpent and found that the one creature that matches it most closely was the ribboned pipefish, which is a type of seahorse, which is already given. Seahorse, right? This sea creature would have been a totally unfamiliar sight in the inland regions where the image is found and may have been the inspiration behind the early painting. That is also mentioned in the features found in the inland parts. So at the end of the ice age, there would have been enormous changes in animal and plant life. It's not surprising then that the Aborigines linked this abundance to the new creatures they witnessed. Even today, Aborigines see the rainbow serpent as a symbol. Now, they are actually symbolizing on that the picture is made symbolizing or signifying something as a symbol of creation, which is understandable given the increase in vegetation and the new life forms that featured when the image first appeared. So, it is symbolizing what? It is symbolizing creation. So, whatever has been produced in their fields or maybe in new life forms, that was what their painting signified. So it symbolized what? Creation. That was the last part of the audio. Symbolizes creation. Okay. So that will end the last question. symbolizes creation in Aboriginal culture. That is their culture, and which was drawn in that serpent image. So that was their way. Okay, so that will complete your notes. That is from 37 to 44 notes. Like in this animal, right, synonymously in that audio, creatures have been mentioned. So if you are not able to track that word animal, you can also write identify the creature, and it is similar because they have mentioned synonymously animal as creature in the audio. So you can write the creature used as a basis for the rainbow serpent. Okay, that is our 40 questions from section 4 for this particular test. So we have ended this test in our 4 sessions with section 1 to 4. So that's it for today. We will meet in our next session with another test series starting from section 1 most probably, and we'll discuss the questions in that test series. Okay, so till then you keep on practicing and keep yourself safe and have a nice day.